This episode, we're going to be talking about joint venture finance. Hello my friends, it's Rob Stewart back with you, co-owner of Property Education Group and creator of the Property Cashflow Blueprint. Now this week I'm really excited, we've got Liam Ryan who is in to talk to us about joint venture finance. So say hello to everybody then.
Yeah, hi everyone, it's Liam Ryan here, co-founder of Assets for Life here in Liverpool with the amazing Rob Stewart.
And Liam's come all the way up from Essex. To speak to me, but actually it's to do some property networking. But I managed to catch Liam as he was in the area, and as you can see, I've just got back from Mallorca actually, so we are now back in the rainy north. But it was great to catch Liam and have a chat about joint venture finance. Now I wanted to do it, Liam, because for me there's only two real things that people need in property. One is to find the deals, and the second is to find the finance.
Yeah, that's right.
And I've always thought personally that actually if you've got the finance, the deals kind of come along. And it's easy to find those deals. So what would be great is if you could share with us some of your top tips to raising joint venture finance, because you've raised a lot in the last year.
Yeah.
So really, how have you gone about it? How have you got started, and how can you help the viewers of Peg TV?
Yeah, great. So for me it's like the chicken and egg, isn't it? It's like, do I find the deal first or do I find the money first? And for me, I'm a big believer that if you find the money, you will definitely find the deal. Because if you've been offered, let's say, 50,000, 100,000 perhaps, you're going to raise £500,000 for your next JV deal, you will do anything it takes to go and find that right type of deal. You know, I've been in a situation this year where I've had the deal and I've not had the finance. So a lot of what I do within Assets for Life with my two wonderful business partners, Will Polston and Jay Munoz, is out there raising the finance, dealing with the investors. So I get a lot of people come up to me and they say, you know, you've done a great job, Liam, this is absolutely brilliant. You've raised £2.2 million in joint venture finance. Months.
Wow.
You know, how has that been possible? You know, we're struggling. And I say to them, I say, how many networking events do you go to a week? And they go, oh no, I've not actually been to a networking event for about 5 weeks now. I say, well, that potentially could be an issue. So one of my top tips is if you're committed to raising joint venture finance and you really want to take your property portfolio to that next level, is attend a minimum of one networking event per week.
Cool.
Now that could be a business networking event, it could be a property networking event, you might even find a charity event of some description, but commit to doing one networking event a week. Let's say do that for the next 8 weeks. And when you're at the networking event, don't just collect business cards. You know, I've also made that mistake. They just get a bit dusty in my top drawer. When you're at the networking event, make a real point of booking in a minimum of 2 coffees.
Cool, so follow up.
Follow up, yeah. Minimum 2 coffees. So if you was to do that over an 8-week period, that's 16 coffees.
Yeah.
Now, do you think if you go and have 16 coffees with 16 potential business owners, property investors, you're going to raise a bit of joint venture finance?
Yeah, I think you're probably going to be pretty wired as well on all the caffeine. But I totally agree with what Liam's just said there. And actually, one of the metrics we use in our business is the amount of coffees we've had with investors. So actually, as I say, business cards, rubbish metric. The number of people you've spoken to at random events is a better metric, but still not great. The number of cups of coffee you've sat down and had with people is a perfect metric to use. And then what you can start to do, and you know that in PEG we're all about our systems and our KPIs, and we get a bit excited about data. You then start to work out your conversion rates for how many coffees do I need to have to get a joint venture partner over the line, and you can start to really just schedule it in. And when you start scheduling stuff into your diary, it has this amazing effect as well about keeping you accountable. And I always say schedule your own success, which means I would say every week you need to have Tuesday morning or Thursday morning or Friday afternoon scheduled for coffees with investors. And then you start getting into that routine, that habit, and you start meeting more people. So, blimey, over £2 million of joint venture finance. What have you used that for?
So we've used that predominantly to help build our HMO portfolio. We've also raised a considerable sum of that for our deal.
Yeah.
So we're currently building 7 flats and 2 houses in Colchester Town Centre. It's an amazing scheme, completely life-changing. The flats will become serviced accommodation.
Right.
The 2 houses will become HMOs, and just that one scheme alone will generate over £100,000 a year net passive income.
And that's to you guys in Assets for Life?
That's for us in Assets for Life, and because we've been able to recycle the cash, we can pay back the investors.
Yep.
We retain the units and we go on to the next deal.
Now, I know you don't have to tell me the number, but I think a lot of people that I work with have sometimes a bit of a mental hang-up about raising JV finance. They say, oh, it's going to be difficult to find, what can I offer the investor? Well, you can offer the investor an investment and a return on that investment, and if you're giving that money back plus their interest or equity or whatever it is they've got in that, they're going to want to give it to you again, aren't they? Yes. And carry on using it. And something that really struck me last week when we were in Mallorca is the amount of wealth that's out there in the world. And I think I said went on a couple of runs and probably ran past houses that are worth more than everything you've kind of seen in my life in terms of wealth. And there's a lot of money out there with people getting poor returns, poor interest rates, dodgy investments they're in, and you can offer them really life-changing returns in property. So that's really key. The other thing that I think is important for raising cash, and Liam will probably agree with this, is raising your personal profile in the industry. Now, Liam, I know you're very active on social media. We've just been having a good conversation about that. How important has that been to helping you raise finance?
Yeah, so really at the start of this year, I made a commitment to myself that I wanted to go and raise joint venture finance, and Assets for Life ultimately is a boutique property investment company.
Yeah.
We help people get a better return on their capital, and I started, and it was a bit scary, and it might be scary for a lot of people out there. I started by just putting out one written post a week.
Yep.
And then I started.
What did it feel to put out that first post?
Quite scary, because the internal dialogue was, who's going to want to read my stuff? Yep. What if this comes across boring? So there was a bit of fear around that. So I started with one written post a week, and all of a sudden I started to get some really good feedback.
Yep.
And what happened is then I became a bit more confident in what I was putting out there on social media, because I was a bit new to Facebook. Then I started with one video a week.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden people were like, wow, you can really help us. And as a result and giving great content to people, it certainly has helped us attract joint venture finance just from social media posts. So it is absolutely key.
And that's social media is free, isn't it? It's totally organic. It's just getting a phone, saying some stuff on camera, putting out there. And the big thing is, again, there's no point being the best property developer who sits in a dark room with the blinds shut, not telling anybody about it. So really, get yourself out there, raise your credibility. It doesn't have to be about sort of bragging and telling people how amazing you're doing the whole time, but just giving value.
Yes.
And by putting that value out, you're going to get it back in so many different ways. Liam, that's been amazing. Can we tie this off? If you could give your one top tip for the viewers of Peg TV to go out and raise finance, what would it be?
Okay, wow, I've got quite a few top tips, but I would say I'd say my top few tips is always come from a place of service. It's not about you, it's about the JV partner. So always come, how can I help this person, or how can I help this family? So that's a real big top tip.
Great.
And I would say my second top tip would be to follow up your leads.
Right.
Don't let them go cold. I don't know if anyone's heard of the 3 to 7 touch points. You normally have to have 7 points of communication with a JV partner to get them over the line. So if you've only had 3 touch points, do the other 4, because it might be the 7th point where you actually get the handshake and they decide to put their trust in you.
Great, amazing tips. Liam, thanks very much for making a big trek up from Essex. What we're going to do is we'll tag you into the post when we put this out on Facebook. Brilliant. You and your business partners as well. Great. With Jay and Will. So if you want to get in contact with Liam and the team, please do that. Otherwise, take action, go and raise some finance, schedule your success, go and have a load of coffees, it's fun as well. Sitting around having coffees and putting some videos out on Facebook. And in the meantime, I'll see you on the next episode. I've been Rob Stewart, helping you achieve more with less in business, property and life.